What's going on, you guys? This is Bridget Kelly, and you are locked into We Talk Weekly.
We're going to jump. You know what? I'm super excited. Why am I super excited? Because we're going right into our next segment, which is our interview. He just joined us, so I'm super excited about that. And we're about to bring him in. But before we do that, Sizzle, who do we have today?
So we have Mr. Andrew Wolfington, the co-founder of VIGIt Technologies. He's a dynamic entrepreneur specializing in strategic leadership, capital raising, and business development. Andrew has worked with companies in various industries.
Wow.
Develop core
There we go.
objectives while increasing enterprise value. Leveraging over 10 years of experience and a team-oriented approach, Andrew, along with his fellow co-founders, have delivered a creative solution capitalizing on the transformative multi-billion-dollar U.S. sports gambling market opportunity to their latest venture, VIGIt, a sports betting social network, changing the way America bets on sports. And VIGIt is a leader in online sports betting technology and social innovation. VIGIt's success is driven by a commitment to delivering an immersive mobile experience through customer-focused design and centralized sports data. Welcome to the show, Mr. Andrew Wolfington.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Fantastic. Welcome to the show, my friend. So before we get into pretty much your whole background and before I say this wrong, how do you say the name of the brand?
Fair enough. It's pronounced VIGIt. So a vigorish or a VIG is a sports betting term, and it's the bookmaker's cut. So it's the tax, for lack of a better phrase, that you pay for the right to place a bet. And it's ultimately how bookmakers make their money.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, VIGIt. I love it. So before we jump right into VIGIt, well, let's talk a little bit about what got you into sports betting. You know, what started you into the kind of the fiscal part of your job, and then why sports betting?
Yeah, absolutely. So myself, obviously, I'm a sports fan. So are my two other co-founders, Sean Lindsay and Joe Barba. So we've always been interested in sports entertainment, and anything sports related. And then the three of us ourselves always gambled on sports as a recreational hobby. And then as PASPA kind of started gaining some traction, and it really looked like that sports gambling was going to become a regulated industry in the United States, we started kind of following the beat, putting pen to paper, really thinking out how big of an opportunity this was, and where were the pain points, and where we could add value. Because up until that point, in our experience dealing with sports gamblers, whether it be a Costa Rican site or our cousin Eric from down the corner who kind of ran some numbers, the whole experience was very antiquated. It wasn't focused on the end consumer by any means. And we really saw an opportunity to come in and innovate and disrupt the whole market. So we decided to really put our heads together, go out and formulate an all-star team, and really kind of put our fingerprint on this emerging industry.
Interesting. Now, what makes you guys different from, all of the other potential online betting, gamers, the people who are trying to, get a foothold in the market? What makes you guys different?
So our big thing is that we first and foremost we're mobile oriented. So we have a Apple and an Android app where a lot of our contemporaries and competitors focused on going website first. But our biggest differentiator is our social and gamified experience and network. So they're just like you have LinkedIn, Facebook, or other niche social networks like a company called Goodreads. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but that's a niche social network for people who enjoy reading books. And they had a great exit. They ended up selling for $100 million. We really saw a need for this same type of niche community. It's, if you're anything like myself, when I can't go on Twitter, Facebook, and just kind of get all the information that is relevant to me and that I want. I kind of have to spend a little time shifting through pictures of my friends' kids, my grandmother talking about politics, or quite frankly, just white noise. And even to recent times, right? It's tough to go on any media site and not be exposed to a headline that's involved with COVID-19. Now, I think we all need to be aware, and we all need to do our part to help kind of get through this as a collective and as a country. But at the end of the day, I'm a positive, optimistic guy. I tend to look at the world as the glass half full. So over time, it tends to wear down, I think, on us all to kind of have negative headlines. And so we wanted to create a place where people could go and they could engage with their favorite leagues, their favorite teams, and be able to do it right from the palm of their hand. And they know when they get on VIGIt that it's everything sports entertainment. So it's gonna, now they may run, if you're from Philadelphia like myself and like you guys are, you may have to unfortunately run into a Dallas Cowboys fan here and there. But for the most part, you're being exposed.
They suck, by the way.
Excuse me?
I said they suck, by the way.
Yeah, right. Let's go Birds, baby.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So you it's you mentioning the COVID-19, this whole pandemic. That's an excellent transition into, I guess, asking, have you seen any uptick in people joining your app, or gambling more, or does it automatically shut down because it's pretty much no sports being played? How does that work?
That's a great question. And the answer is there's two sides of that coin. So on one hand, businesses that are mobile oriented or online oriented actually stand to find a silver lining in all this, much like TikTok, much like Netflix, Amazon doing at-home deliveries. People are confined to their homes. And if you're anything like myself, you're getting cabin fever and you ran out of Netflix shows to watch. I can only watch Tiger King so many times so people are just dying for social engagement, right? And they're dying for any form of alternative entertainment, and they're turning to their mobile apps, they're turning to social networks, they're turning to anything they can do from the confines of their home. So on one hand, we are seeing from our users an uptake in engagement, right? We're a mobile site. However, we are very sports entertainment and sports betting focused, and there's a sports drought right now due to the quarantine. So the good news there is we have a great team. We really do. Everyone over that works with us over here at VIGIt, they've really worked hard to effectively be able to pivot. And our first light lift was we're rolling out our online poker links. So we were able to go back to all of our sportsbook partners, and a lot of them have casino arms, and we were able to negotiate deals with them to promote their online poker, which is legal here in the state of Pennsylvania, also across the river in New Jersey. So we are able to effectively get those in place. We're incorporating them into the app right now. And so far we've been having great success. Just because you like watching sports or you like to bet on sports doesn't necessarily mean you like to play poker. But inherently, there are some synergies between the two demographics, and people are just looking for any type of entertainment. Whether it's I'm playing Words with friends, with my buddies, I'm a backgammon player myself, so I'm actually playing a lot of backgammon online with some of my family members.
Right.
And then we're also excited about some of our esports initiatives. We went back to some of our esports partners. We're going obviously that's a huge opportunity. Gamers are everywhere, and they come in every age group and every culture. So we're excited to be able to kind of push those to the forefront, where we were hyper focused on a lot of our sports entertainment and sports betting opportunities. We've actually been able to come up for air and focus on working on the business as opposed to kind of being in the daily weeds of operating the business on a day-to-day basis. So just part of our company culture, being glass half full, finding the silver lining, and trying to figure out where's the good in all this. We've been able to do that effectively, and we even have a COVID-19 social distancing awareness free-to-play game where
Wow.
the winners each day, it's a daily game, winners each day, we donate to a charity called PACT, which helps place pets into foster homes for military servicemen and women who have to go across seas and serve this great country of ours.
Wow, fantastic. That's great. That's great. Shout out to all our vets out there. Appreciate your service. So I'm curious now. So how does it work? So walk me through the process. So is you can go to the Android market or the Apple market, and how does that work? Walk me right through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you could take out your phone right now, go to either the Google Play Store or go to the Apple App Store. You type in VIGIt, 2 words, download the app, and it's just a gamified social experience. So you can follow your friends, industry insiders, handicappers, see who they're picking. You can, just like on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can share articles, posts, things like that. You can comment on it, like it. And then we have a variety of free to play games as well. So there's different ways to engage with the platform. And then one of the things that users love about our platform is that we centralize everything. So not only can you have this social experience, but we also have our own in-house data team where we're collecting sports data on a regular basis when sports are being played. And so, but if you're anything like myself, before PASPA, when I would wake up on a Sunday morning in the fall, I'd have 15 web browsers open on my desktop. I'd have 5 different sports books. I'd have 5 different media sites where I'm getting my insider information. I'd be on my phone texting my buddies, being like, hey, who do you like? Who do you not like? What games are you taking? And I have 5 browsers up on different just chat forums, right? Just trying to
Right.
follow the trends, get and predictive analytics. And we took that fragmented experience and we centralized and aggregated it all right onto your phone.
Mm.
And one of the pain points that which actually got us to set out on this opportunity and venture, when we were speaking to the incumbent gambling operators, contrary to the typical sports betting demographic, a lot of these casino operators, their user base and their email distribution list were females over the age of 50 who enjoyed playing slot machines and table games. So they were having a very difficult time attracting millennials and the younger demographic and getting them to really stay on their platform. And we went to them and we went, hey, it's because you're not investing in mobile. A lot of these casino operators, they're glorified real estate companies. They have these giant properties with a hospitality component, food and beverage, and it's all geared to managing the property and keeping you on the casino floor. And right, it's no secret people dislike change, right? People are slow to change. Why fix what's not broken? And we identified the gaming industry, and specifically casinos and sports betting, as one of those few industries that were left that technology hadn't really infiltrated and disrupted yet. So we saw it as a golden opportunity. Part of that, we also saw it in real estate. So in another life, I worked in commercial real estate, and in 2015, you saw a real big push for technology in real estate. Up until then, a lot of deals were still getting done on paper, and it was pretty crazy, and all aspects of the industry. So whether it was commercial brokerage, property management, institutional investing, or just managing your workflow and improving efficiencies, you saw startups come in and really thrive in an antiquated industry, and it's just a product of people are resilient to change, and we're just fortunate to be in the right place, the right time, and have a really good team that is great at executing.
Fantastic. So, have you seen any changes from when? What was the birth year of VIGIt?
So we incorporated August 8th, 2018. So 8/8/18. We kind of like that birth date.
Wow,
Um,
18.
yeah, that's when we officially incorporated. We had been kind of we have unofficially started this venture back right around I would say right around Easter in 2018, leading up to the May 14th PASPA regulation. So even though we incorporated at the end of the summer, there was a solid 5 to 6 months of us just doing our homework, doing our diligence. And right, I always say to people, it's how many times have you sat there and you've been like, I have $1 million idea. And then you sit there and you spitball it with your friend and you talk it out. And the
Right.
fact of the matter is, we all have $1 million ideas every single day. The only difference is it's a small segment of the population that actually takes initiative and takes action on that. And we after doing our homework, we were like, this is a great opportunity. We got to take advantage of it, and we haven't looked back ever since.
Interesting. So do you see how many do you know how many members I'm sure you know how many members are already registered to your app?
Yeah, so we have over 15,000 total verified users.
Wow.
Over the course of the NFL season, we were seeing 2,000 daily active. And just to give you some insight into our user engagement, our users were opening up the app an average of 6 times a day. They're called sessions for a total of 4.5 minutes. And just to put that into perspective, Facebook averages 5 and 5. So the average Facebook user will check the app 5 times a day and be on it for a grand total of 5 minutes. So our engagement has been great. People are really responding to what we're doing. And part of our strategy is really focusing on being great at what we're doing, and we're kind of flying under the radar just because this is a huge industry with incumbent operators like DraftKings, Caesars, and FanDuel who have deep pockets, quite frankly. And we wanted to kind of, just like Rocky Balboa, we wanted to stay under the radar and then come out swinging hard and go right for the title fight.
I know that's right. That's fantastic. Now, how are you guys I gotta ask this, but how are you guys being how can I say responsible as it relates to people who may abuse uh sometimes betting, they really don't necessarily have the money to spend as much as they do, and they abuse their betting so much so that sometimes they wipe out their bank account. Do you have anything in place that may save someone's bank account, so to speak, from betting so much, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. So we are not a sports books ourselves. We are we're a sports betting technology company. We have a social mobile platform. So we partner with the sports books. A great analogy I would use, I don't know if you're familiar with Kayak or Expedia.com,
Yes.
but just like Kayak, where you say, hey, I want to fly from Philly to Miami, and then they'll pull up the different airlines and give you the different pricing. We do that for sports betting. So you would say, hey, I want to bet on the Eagles-Giants game this weekend. And we'll pull up all the sports books in your state where you can compare the lines, the VIG, the adjust, and basically it's price transparency. So in the Kayak comparison, where we're Kayak, the sports books like DraftKings, FanDuel's, William Hill's of the world, they're Delta Airlines, America Airlines, Spirit, whatever it may be. So we offer price transparency and odd aggregation to make sure people are getting the best purchasing power for their dollar as possible. And then on top of that, we really view ourselves as a consumer-oriented platform. So as I mentioned, we have our own sports data in-house. So we give you analytics, market information, historical performance for all the teams. So you can click on that. So when you're analyzing the game, you can click into the Eagles-Giants matchup, and we'll show you the public picks for both teams. So you can see 60% of the population is taking the Philadelphia Eagles, while 40% of the population is taking the New York Giants. But then we'll also show you the public money. And even though the amount of people may be taking the Eagles more, all the money, it might be on the Giants. And then we'll explain to you what that disparity really means. So we really look at it as what we like to call edutainment, education and entertainment. So part of our mission is to help people feel more comfortable with sports gambling, kind of bring it into the everyday normal life of sports entertainment here in America. And we empower our users, and we give them the ability to make calculated, concise, and confident decisions, much like a broker, a financial advisor or a stockbroker would, where you can analyze the market and you're looking at the underlying key performance indicators to make you feel more comfortable about your decision before you buy a stock. We essentially have the same thing, and we have a variety of tools. We also have our risk management tools, so we'll show you, hey, you put $20 on the Philadelphia Eagles, but once you factor in the VIG and adjust, you actually may be risking 20 to only win 18 or 17-25, and educate people on what an adjust is and how the odds actually slightly change, even though the spread may still be at minus 7.5. So there is an education component, and that is part of our philosophy. So in the industry, someone who's a seasoned sports bettor or a traditional sports bettor is called a sharp, whereas kind of the more casual gamer may be referred to as a punter. And part of our philosophy was a punter won't understand a user journey and user interface and a design for the very sophisticated sports bettor, because there is that learning curve. However, a sharp will understand a intuitive, user-friendly design for the casual gambler who may be getting involved in sports betting for the first time. And on top of that, we're also a social platform for sports entertainment. So you can follow your favorite teams. Eventually, we plan on getting athletes on the platform as well, so you can engage with them. And what we really ultimately see this evolving into is a mobile economy for sports entertainment. So if we know you like to bet on the Eagles, why not proposition you to get a Carson Wentz jersey, or also buy tickets to that game as well? And matter of fact, why shouldn't Carson Wentz be on the platform? And why shouldn't you be able to buy Carson Wentz's jersey right from Carson Wentz?
Wow, I love that. I love that. I actually love that. So let's jump into I would like to know, in terms of your betting, right? Where do you see, I'm sure, because you said Super Bowl, I'm sure football will probably be at the top of everybody that's betting for football. Can you list in order, like maybe the top 5 football? Is it football, then basketball, then maybe hockey, then list the top 5 in betting?
Yeah, no. So you're absolutely spot on in that the NFL is the top performer for across all markets. I believe it's right around 35% of all the sports wagering handle comes in on the NFL season. Number 2 is college basketball.
Wow, March Madness. I can see that.
Yeah,
I
the
can
March
see that.
Madness events. College basketball is huge, and and that kind of gets back to part of our philosophy of trying to connect our users to the leagues and teams. And you see it very much so in college basketball. People are passionate about their universities. Look at Mark Cuban.
They are.
He's a Hoosier, and he's always talking about University of Indiana. So people are very passionate about their colleges and universities, and it creates a tribal community to a certain extent. And whether it's esports, whether it's cryptocurrencies and bitcoins, we found that there are certain segments of the online community that a word that's often used in the industry is tribal, where they're just very loyal, they're very engaging with one another, and they're looking to kind of just constantly engage with one another and constantly grow that quote unquote tribe, and then also even compete with other tribes within the overall tribe. So we really speak to the competitive nature of all of our users and constituents. But to finish answering your question, it's NFL, college basketball, NBA, and then really you can start arguing, and different agencies have different reports. We really like to kind of get into the more granular one-off events at that point. But obviously MLB, NHL, those are some major ones. You're seeing a lot of emerging stuff happening with betting on esports. And we actually, this whole quarantine that we're going through, we think this is going to actually end up serving as a catalyst for alternative betting channels. So whether it's drone racing, betting on the weather, and we really think this could even kind of further further progress the ability of custom bets. So Charles, like if I wanted to on the VIGIt platform, I should be able to send you a bet right now that I could do more push-ups than you, and you and I can be on this show and we can be doing push-ups, and the winner should be
Let's
able to
do
get
it. Let's do
$5. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. Hmm. That's cool.
But
That's actually cool. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, a lot of great things are happening in the industry, and we think there's going to be, there's so many other industries that really touch on sports entertainment and sports betting, whether it's fintech, right? So we have a free to play peer-to-peer sports better, so we could bet each other without a vig, and now it's not real money, it's social, and it acts as a tracker. But I'm sure you guys may have had the experience where you're at a bar, you end up talking smack with the guy next to you, or it's even one of your buddies, and then you wake up the next morning and you're like, hey, I won the bet, you owe me $20. And then they're like, what are you talking about? We didn't make that bet. It was $10, not $20. We said -7, not -8, whatever it may be. But now there's a centralized, memorialized place where you can be like, hey man, we did a VIGIt. Like, here it is right here on the phone. Like, here's the
That's
terms
cool.
of the bet. Now, we can't force people to pay up, and we don't try to, but it at least allows you to hold your friends or people accountable.
I like that. That's great. Now they can't dodge it. Oh, that's cool. So
Exactly.
what about when it comes to um maybe the pay-per-view aspect of maybe boxing and UFC? How does that betting work with you?
Yeah, so I love that you brought that up, because that's something that we see as a natural and holistic progression with our platform. Just going on with the, hey, you should be able to buy jerseys, tickets,
That's right.
etc. You should also be able to say, hey, stream the game now right from my phone,
That's
right?
right.
And maybe you pay 99 cents. Now, the barrier there is the leagues themselves, obvious, and times are changing. You're especially with out of market games, you're seeing some very innovative solutions to the problem emerging. And I see a future where we solve the problem by doing a strategic partnership with one of these startups in the space. But essentially, it's the broadcasting rights, right? So whether it's Fox or CBS, they pay a ton of money for the rights to air these shows. So even though it's very intuitive to you and me, and it is going to get there eventually, um, the leagues and the cable networks are they don't necessarily want to see a change, because it's such a big revenue driver for them, because it's such an effective form of marketing and value proposition to their individual customers. So there's just too much investment into the way the industry is currently set up, but it's only a matter of time. So whether it could be this COVID-19 that acts as a catalyst to where they're like, hey, we need to be more mobile focused and mobile streaming. But it's only, and you're seeing it right now in the cable industry. People are cutting the cord, you know what I mean? And the whether it's the Time Warner or the Comcast or Verizons of the world, they're terrified of streaming. They've invested billions, if not trillions of dollars, laying fiber optic cables all over the country. You know what I mean? So for technology like streaming to come to market, and for if it was allowed to kind of become the way of the land overnight, those companies would lose all that money that they invested, and then you're losing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. Well, not hundreds of thousands, but you'd be losing. There's too much invested into the current way of doing things for something to happen overnight.
Yeah,
It is the future, though, in my opinion.
yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. Now, do you see, just this on the same vein of boxing, do you see how does that work if someone want to, I guess you have a, someone like Conor McGregor and Pretty Boy Floyd want to fight
Yeah.
again. How do you set that up?
Yeah, so essentially the promoters or whoever, I guess their managers would put together the fight, and then just like during that process where they reach out to like an MGM in Las Vegas and they coordinate locking up the venue, and then they go to DirecTV and they coordinate getting it on pay-per-view. It's the exact same process. We would just hope to inject ourselves into, and so it's just a matter of the social norms changing, and that kind of alludes back to the next question. You're gonna see it. I love fighting. I'm actually an old school boxing fan as opposed to MMA. Don't get me wrong, I love UFC as well.
Yeah.
But I love boxing, and it's but that fighting's an interesting one, because like in my opinion, it's the closest thing to flipping a coin.
It is.
It's anytime, like for the exception of Floyd Money Mayweather, it's never bet against him. It's like betting against the Pats. Well, maybe not anymore without Tom Brady, but that's going to be another thing that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Was the Pats' success a product of Bill Belichick, Tom Brady? Time will tell. It's a question a lot of people have asked, and a lot of people are eager to see the answer to.
Oh, good. I can't wait till you guys start promoting, seeing your name on a boxer's belt or something, their trunks, or maybe
Right.
even you guys coming on We Talk Weekly and advertise with us, and we'll make that happen, you know. So,
Yeah.
so tell me where because I would be remiss to not give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about your partners, because I know they didn't have the opportunity to jump on with you. So let's talk a little bit about your partners before we let you go.
Yeah. So the two co-founders are Sean Lindsay and Joe Barba. Joe Barba and I lived together when we first originally started the company. He has 10 years of tech startup experience. And he apologizes for not being able to hop on as well. We're all kind of quarantined to our own locations. Sean Lindsay is the tech developer. We actually ended up doing a acquisition of his company, Cap Sports, and he's a proficient back-end programmer. Who not only understands programming, but is a sports enthusiast and understands the business of bookmaking. So that's been critical to our ability to roll out products quickly as well. And quite frankly, it's without all three of us kind of coming together and working together, we would not be as far as we are today. It's the one thing that we're very proud of is the team we've assembled, especially on the management level. And with the raising of our current Series A round, that right now this quarantine kind of pushed things back slightly, so we moved it back 45 days into July. But we're going to be expanding our team as well, and we're going to be looking to hire some of the top talent right here in the greater Delaware Valley area.
Now, I'm curious, have you guys thought about, like, you know what, guys, we really can, get a deeper foothold in the market if we went on something like a Shark Tank? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, right, there's first of all, I'm a huge Shark Tank fan. My two favorite sharks are Kevin O'Leary and Barbara. Believe it or not, I feel like everyone's always quick to be like Mark Cuban,
Mark
Ashton
Cuban,
Kutcher,
right,
and stuff.
right.
But I respect Kevin O'Leary's frankness. He tells it as it is. He calls a spade, and sometimes we don't like hearing things, but the truth rarely steers you wrong, in my opinion. And then Barbara's a bulldog, man. She is an absolute bulldog. I love her. So it's yes. In short, being on Shark Tank would be great. We've talked about it and joked around on it as we're watching the show on a regular basis. We have done some quick Googling, and I don't whether it's an urban myth or not, but like I heard you may possibly have to give up some equity just to be on the show.
Oh, wow.
And then once you're on, it's right. It's a catch-22. You're either going to hit a home run and you're going to blow up overnight because of it, or hey, if something goes wrong, it could have a negative impact as well. Now, between us, that's not one of the things that's holding us back. It's more so we're having great success with the traditional methods, reaching out and going out and raising it from institutional and VCs. We're getting a lot of traction. It's even a lot of the operators and especially the foreign, whether it's the foreign affiliate marketing conglomerates, like the Cantinas, XL Medias, or Better Collectors of the world, or even some of the operators either overseas or domestic. They're looking for innovators, and they're looking for these startups that are coming up and really solving some of the problems they have. And it's the age-old adage: do you buy it or do you build it yourself? So some people are definitely considering buying it, and we're definitely on their radar. And part of raising money is a full-time job, flying and we're right now we are a three-man management team so it's a product of limited resources, and fortunately we're having great traction and great success to date. So we haven't necessarily had to go utilize some of those alternative methods.
You know, one thing that we Classy Lady Sparkle, you want to jump in?
Yeah, well, I know you need to give Charles your number because Charles is, I'm telling you, he is going to be able to talk another 2 hours about sports and everything. But just what you were saying about the startup, there's so many people based on this COVID-19 that are thinking of these $1 million ideas that they're going to want to push it. So what was your stumbling blocks, you and your partners, as if you could look back or even give advice to saying things that people can approach differently?
Yeah, so I hesitate to say hurdles. I'd almost kind of just maybe a better way to phrase what I'm about to give you is like maybe words of wisdom or just my input based off my experiences. But just bite sizes, right? Not looking at things as a mountain, kind of just focusing on how you can put one foot in front of the other each and every single day. And especially, right? So we didn't necessarily have hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw into this right off the bat. So we focused on things we could control, which are our time and sweat equity early on. So we took the time to learn the industry. On LinkedIn, we're reaching out to C-suite executives at existing sports books and gaming companies, just kind of trying to connect with them, asking to sit down with them, just to pick their brain, figure out what their problems were. And we did a lot of listening, to be honest, early on. We listened to a lot of people. We try to identify the underlying opportunity and what the real pain points were for these, so we could come up with a solution for them. And then, so whether it's just reaching out to one person a day, just sitting down, writing white papers and putting together these pitch decks and just taking action on a daily basis, it's what we found is that people overestimate what they can do in 6 to 12 months, and they underestimate what they can do in 36 months to 3 years. So and I'm sure, as you guys can attest, time flies by, man. It really does. It's kind of crazy that way, how you look back and it's like, oh geez, I feel like I was just graduated high school the other day, and then it's, oh wow, I feel like I just graduated college, and now we're getting married, having kids. And then positivity. I think one thing that will slow down a lot of people is early on they'll be talking about it, and believe it or not, there are people in the world who look at it, the glass is half empty, and they're quick to kind of shut it down, say, hey, you can never do that. And it's just ignore the haters, man. Ignore them. It's do you, be comfortable in your own skin. And if you're confident and are just an unmovable force, it's you this is America. You generally can do anything you set your mind to. Now, will it happen on your time schedule and how fast you want it to? Not, I always say you want to make God laugh, tell him your future plans. But it's if you're relentless and you keep moving the ball forward, you can manifest things and you really can force things into existence. So that would be my advice: is ignore the haters, be persistent, focus on just putting one foot in front of the other each and single day. All right, like when you're running a marathon, don't sit there and think about the 26 miles in front of you. Think about, is it 23.6 or is it? I should know that, right? I've never run anything more than the Broad Street, and that's a downhill race. So, yeah. So, and then hurdles are in, and the other thing I would say is be appreciative of the fact that people who invest are taking a lot of risk, and without that money, you can't really accomplish anything. It's all too often you see young entrepreneurs who don't want to give up any equity, and they don't appreciate what the risk the investor is taking. And I always say I'd rather have 10% of a $100 million company than 50% of a $2 million company. You just got to be aware that, and you got to appreciate your investors and be strategic about who you take money from.
I loved it. That was great advice, and you actually answered pretty much the last questions that I had. The only thing I have left for you is, how can everybody get in contact with you and find out more and download? Well, you kind of told us where they could download the app, because I actually downloaded it as I was talking to you. But
love it. I'm glad to hear that.
No doubt.
Yeah, so we have a landing page, vigitapp.com. That's really more for marketing purposes. Please follow us on Instagram, hashtag VIGIt, on Twitter. We have LinkedIn, Facebook. Like I said, you can download us on either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And please share it with your friends. It's exciting times for us, and we're just keeping up with all the momentum we've had up into this point. But spread the word, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of us, especially here locally in the city of Philadelphia. It's once sports comes back, we're really gearing up for some exciting times this summer and the 2020 NFL season.
Oh, fantastic, bro. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on our show. We really appreciate you. Hopefully, you'll come back and think about how we can work together in a partnership in some type of way. I always have to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Have you guys ever thought about doing a sports show spinoff? Start getting you right on the app.
Lady Estat will love that. I'm gonna bring her on. She just jumped on so she can say hello to you real quick, and then we'll let you go.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. This has been great.
Absolutely. I love the sports idea.
Yeah, no. So, hey, there's a huge demand for like a woman's voice in sports. So if you're a sports enthusiast and hopefully an Eagles fan like myself, we would love to talk about how we could work together because especially in the sports betting community, right? There's not really kind of a voice for that female audience, and we're looking for someone who wants to bear that flag and bear that cross, and we want to help them succeed. So we would love to figure out ways we can work together.
There you go, and that's where it goes. We talk sports.
There we go.
There you go. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate everybody who tuned in today. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Andrew, for coming on the We Talk Weekly. Is there anything else you want to say to us or give us one last word?
Yeah, let's go Birds, baby. 76ers, trust the process. Let's go.
No doubt. Well, we'd like to thank you for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you later. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You guys, it's your girl Lauren Sizzle
and Classy Lady Sparkle.
And have you subscribed to our channel yet?
If the answer is no, you need to subscribe now.
Yeah, so stop what you're doing, go right now and subscribe. We like you, you like us, so go ahead and subscribe.
Come on over, be a part of the family of We Talk Weekly and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So what are you waiting for? Subscribe
now.